Well, the Gen Z demographic is a little more complicated than, say, older generations years ago. They have multiple streams of income, many more deduction options as it relates at least to retirement accounts. There's not just a pension, for example. There's 401k, Roth, traditional, others. They typically are involved in more other types of activities, whether it be cryptocurrency, stock investing, online gaming, and the rest. So their tax profile is not simply a W-2 from a job and then eventually buy a home. So all that adds up to a lot more tax compliance, but also tax opportunity with deductions and benefits and tax loopholes and the like. So once they're facing that with their computer screen, they've also been told it's so simple, do it yourself on a computer or on your smartphone. When that all comes together, it can be a little bit stressful, but that's easy to compensate for with a little bit more of an organizational plan. Finding a tax pro, either full or a part-time contact to ask questions or even do it yourself. There's a lot of different ways to get to that final outcome of a good tax return, but it all starts with taking some action. Sports gaming has always been taxable from the dawn of the tax return, so there's no new rule there. What we've seen over the last few years is the commercialization of online gaming. Many states now allow apps in their state, and a lot more people are taking advantage of that. I have 3 kids, and they're all actively online gamers with the apps in their various states. And so I'll simply say, not only is it much more commonplace to have it, the rules have tightened up a little bit on what's taxable, basically all income and winnings, what's deductible, not necessarily all your losses, and you certainly can't offset them. And so the conflux of both more people doing it, more states allowing it, a lot more income being generated from it, along with the complicated rules, has certainly led to a greater interest both by taxpayers in how to do it and do it right, tax professionals on helping people, and the IRS looking at this large amount of money that people are now having as a part of their income and perhaps not handling it all correctly. So if you have gaming, small or large, March Madness or year-round with the app, make sure you understand the rules and you talk to your tax professional about how to properly report it, not to pay too much, and take advantage of whatever deductions or benefits that you might have from your losses. It's a huge item and getting bigger every year. Good news is if you've got gains, you should be happy. The not so good news is if you've got gains, some or all of that may be taxable in some portion depending on a lot of different factors. What type of asset, crypto versus stocks or equities or something in your perhaps retirement account. All I'll simply say this is if you're an active investor, and that doesn't mean a day trader, but if you're putting money into investments, be that cryptocurrency, stocks or bonds, even real estate, even in your retirement plans, you need to understand what the rules are, because there's a couple of things that happen to people. One, they have gains and they report too much and they perhaps didn't calculate their basis correctly. Alternative, we see this a lot with crypto, I didn't get cash so I didn't report it at all. Well, that's not the rule, and so you've underreported, and if you had enough, the IRS may find out about it and start asking you questions. So if you're an active investor, and that starts once you get within a really modest amount, you need to understand the rules and you need to tell your tax professional what you're doing, and they can not only help you understand what the tax compliance rules are, but they may even give you some guidance on putting more in this type of a retirement account or in this type of an investment and shelter some taxes. So it's an important step in your economic evolution, and one you don't want to go alone unless you do the homework and make sure you understand all the rules, especially the tax rules. Yeah, the good news is, people have always had side hustles, but what we saw with the pandemic, from the downsizing of the economy to people being laid off, is a lot of people were making ends meet with these side hustles, small, big or large, part-time or full-time. What we've seen since the pandemic has subsided is a lot of people kept doing that. Some estimates are 40 or 50 million taxpayers have a side hustle in some form or fashion. The good news is they're enjoying it and they're making money. They may owe taxes on it, and the tax rules are kind of complicated on those side gigs. The good news is also that there's some really lucrative tax benefits in there, from tax deductions for automobile, home office, anything related to your business. But there's some other rules that you have to pay attention to. Like you don't get to just pay taxes at the end of the year. You have to do it throughout the year, or you may have some exposure to underpayment penalties. So good news is you're making money. Not so great news is there are some tax rules to be aware of. More good news is there are more benefits in there than downside. So get some some help with your side hustle, small, big, medium, or large, full-time or part-time. It's not just something you can just ignore as a hobby. It's all taxable if you have income. And if you have losses, you may have tax-deductible breaks there as well. So get some information, take advantage of the tax laws, they're your tax laws, and pay the minimum amount of tax you can, get the biggest refund you can on your side hustle. It can help grow that business. Our website at jacksonhewitt.com, there's a host of information, tax tips, frequently asked questions, videos, calculators, and the rest. But the best tool is you can just put in your zip code in the little box and up will pop the offices near you. You can click on one and make an appointment at your convenience or get the address and come on in today. We have extra hours, extra people. It's in-game in tax season. So jacksonhewitt.com, great place to start if you want help with your taxes or you just want more information about taxes so you can make the decision yourself. jacksonhewitt.com, great first step.